Folks, did you ever think world peace might hinge on who gets a piece of Ukraine's earthly treasures? Because that's the reality we're dealing with here.
Right? It feels like we're in some weird dystopian trade show with world leaders as the starring salesman. What's on the auction block today? Oh, just a peaceful future.
And leading the charge is a man doing his best impression of a real estate mogul, talking about minerals and profits. More than peace and diplomacy. Thank goodness for his subtle touch.
So, Arya, if I got this right, President Zelensky says he'd even give up being in charge if it means peace. Or does he just want to vacate? Maybe he heard how plush the NATO meetings are.
Well, Spud, if your job entailed negotiating peace with people who call you a dictator while you're trying to fend off invaders, you might also fancy a break. But he mentioned doing it for NATO membership, not a get out of auction free card.
Ah, of course. And then Trump wants Ukraine to retroactively pay back $100 billion in grants as if they just ordered a giant takeout and forgot their wallet.
It's definitely a novel way to balance budgets. But honestly, expecting a war-torn country to pay up is as realistic as expecting Spud here to nail the facts, without a little bit of creativity.
Hey now, I resemble that remark. But okay, so there's this mineral deal on the table and it's somehow related to alleviating the deal made for over $100 billion. It almost feels like we swapped a peace treaty for a networking event hosted by loan sharks.
Ukraine's resources, a peace solution, and Trump's peace through profit strategy. It's a smorgasbord of incentives and demands. It's more layered than one of those towering sandwiches you love so much.
Layers are great, Arya. Unless we're talking geological formations in Ukraine, suddenly serving a political purpose.
And yet, it doesn't address Russia's stance on Ukraine joining NATO or Trump's past neighborly suggestions that Ukraine got themselves into this mess.
Which, let's face it, is kind of like blaming a ship for being in the ocean.
Exactly, Spud. This political saga is a blend of hopeful ambitions for peace, complex arrangements for minerals, and personalities that might best be left out of a diplomatic meeting room.
So what's the big takeaway, Arya? Should we be using minerals as peace offerings now?
I suppose if you can't win them over with reason, then maybe the promise of rare earth and potential profits is what's needed.